If you're working out harder and harder, but your energy, your mood, your hormones, and your results are getting worse, you're not alone. And there's nothing wrong with you. Because I used to do everything they said when it came to how to work out, endless cardio, HIIT classes, boot camp sessions, and I ended up feeling worse, not better. Today, let's talk about why women in midlife need a different approach when it comes to exercise and movement, and how to finally get results that feel as good as they look. I'm Jenny Tonin, and I'm a holistic nutritionist, and I work with women who are like me, women who are in midlife and beyond, and are looking for sustainable, practical, effective ways to not only drop excess body fat, but increase their energy and support their hormones so that they can not only feel better on the inside, but look better on the outside too. So if you're ready to learn how to work out smarter, not harder, then hit that subscribe button and let's dive in. On my weight loss journey, I've tried so many different workout plans, and virtually every single one of them left me disappointed and without the results I was looking for. So today we're going to talk about what I did wrong so that hopefully you won't repeat my mistakes. And then we're going to talk about what you can do instead as a woman in midlife so that you can get those results that you're looking for. Now, I tried so many things, including I trained for a full summer to run a half marathon. That's 21 kilometers or 13.1 miles, I believe, if I remember exactly. And that involved me doing many long running sessions each and every week. I've done boot camp sessions and HIIT classes multiple times a week. I've gone to spin class, and I've done all kinds of variations of these things. And in each and every circumstance that I did these things, while sometimes I felt really good at the end of the workout, ultimately I felt exhausted. My cravings were out of control. I had energy crashes, and I never lost the fat I was looking to lose. And it was maddening. I felt like I was doing everything right, but my results were completely wrong. And I blamed myself. And I thought that if I wasn't getting the results I wanted, it's because I wasn't going hard enough. I wasn't pushing myself far enough or fast enough. I wasn't sweating enough. There was something I was doing wrong. I didn't understand that the whole process of what I was doing was the issue, and it wasn't me. I always believed more was better, more running, more classes, more sweat, but my body was just waving a giant red flag, and I couldn't understand what the message is that it was giving me. So first, we need to understand why training needs change when we hit midlife. So the first important thing to understand is that somewhere between around 35 to 40, depending on you, your hormonal needs change. As you begin to enter perimenopause and that phase of life, and then eventually menopause, your hormones are shifting. I always think of this like reverse puberty. So everything that happened to you as an adolescent when you entered puberty, it's all going on in reverse. Things can get a little wonky, but at the most basic level, your estrogen and your progesterone and your testosterone levels are shifting. So to paraphrase Dr. Stacy Sims, women become less resistant to stressors like endurance exercises as we get older. And increased cortisol, our most famous stress hormone from these intense cardio sessions that we've been taught are the golden ticket to fat loss. What happens to us as women in midlife when we do those sessions is we get more cortisol, which means more fat storage and more muscle breakdown. And those two things are not going to give us the results we want. It's also imperative to understand that muscle is the organ of longevity. And that's directly taken from Dr. Gabrielle Lyon. From around 35 and on, as women, we start to deal with something called sarcopenia. Sarcopenia basically means age-related muscle loss. And as women, we do not want to lose our muscle. We want to protect that muscle as much as possible and do things to help promote new muscle growth. Less muscle means slower metabolism, less strength, and a higher fat gain. None of those things are going to be working in our favor if we let them happen. And finally, these high intensity workouts, they increase our likelihood of injury, joint issues, and They prolong recovery. High intensity exercise without the appropriate recovery as a woman in midlife can spell disaster for us. There's going to be more joint pain, more inflammation throughout our body. So now let's talk about what works better. And I call this smarter training. The truth is that whatever exercise you enjoy the best is going to be the best exercise for you because it's the one that you're most likely going to do. However, we need to be sure that we're training appropriately for the season of life that we're in. And that's why I'm a giant advocate for focusing the majority of your exercise energy on resistance training. Now let's talk about what works better. And I call this smarter training. So the first thing, the foundation, is that we want to focus on resistance training. Resistance training comes in many forms, and you don't have to join a gym to do it. You don't have to have an elaborate equipment setup or some complex routine. You can do this with what you already have. You can do this with body weight. You can buy some simple exercise bands, or you can get free weights. And from there, you can let this evolve. There's so many ways to do this, and there's no limitations other than your creativity and your imagination. I want to learn how to focus on what's called compound movements. These are things like squats, push-ups, rows, deadlifts, and you don't need to do this every day. 2 to 3 times a week is an amazing place for most of us to be able to see massive changes. And the reason that resistance training works so well is that it builds up your lean muscle tissue. This alone speeds up your metabolism, but there's more to it than that. Resistance training also supports better hormone balance. It helps support insulin sensitivity and blood sugar control, and it boosts your bone density, which is crucial for preventing osteoporosis later in life. And like I said, this is accessible. You don't need to join a gym to be able to strength train. You can do this in your living room, in your bedroom. You just need a space the size of a yoga mat to get started. Buying exercise bands, using household objects like canned foods or jugs of water can be a great starting place, and it's effective. And just a 20 to 30 minute routine 2 to 3 times a week can be life-changing. You can use YouTube, you can consult with a trainer. There's so many ways for you to get started and learn the exercises that are going to help you. And as full disclaimer, I am not a trainer. And if you have specific accommodations that need to be addressed, then consult with somebody that knows what they're talking about and that can help you and give you individualized advice. But like I said, YouTube is a fantastic resource to get you started, or consult with a trainer one-on-one and get a customized plan for you. If you want to know more about my workout plan and what I do for strength training, drop a comment below. So what I'm doing now that's working better for me than all of my intense cardio sessions that took up hours and hours and hours out of my week and didn't give me the results I wanted and caused me to feel tired and cranky and way over hungry for the next day or two after my workout. Well, instead of that, I'm doing 3+ strength training sessions a week. And I focus on my big muscle groups, so my quads and my glutes and my back. And I couple that with what's called LISS, L-I-S-S, which stands for low intensity steady state. And that's doing hikes and walks and lower intensity cardio movements every day. So every single day I'm going out and I'm getting walks in the fresh air, in the natural light, and I'm working into my routine 3+ strength training sessions that for me, I'm doing these for 30 to 45 minutes at most. So it takes me way less time than these old HIIT class or boot camp sessions, you know, by the time I got dressed and got to the thing and did the hour-long workout and then got home and showered, a few hours had gone by. This is way faster. I can do it in the comfort of my own home, and my results are infinitely better, that are noticeable in my body, but I also feel so much better. I feel stronger. I feel more energized. It impacts my mood in a positive way and my whole outlook on life. But now with my new strength training approach, I'm doing it differently. So every day I make a point of getting outside and going for a good long walk, at least one walk. That's great for my mental health. It's great for my energy. I find it a stress relief. I can make it a bit of me time. I can listen to a podcast or music that I like. I can go with somebody if I want to have a conversation with them, or I can talk to them on the phone, or I can just go alone and be quiet and silent. But on top of that, those low intensity, steady state workouts that I do every day, list training, I'm incorporating the 3 strength training workouts into my week. And these workouts I can do in the privacy of my own home. So it's a lot more time efficient. But in addition to that, I'm getting way better results. So the things I've experienced are increased energy, improved muscle tone and body composition. So I'm growing muscle while simultaneously burning fat. So I'm increasing my muscle mass while I'm simultaneously decreasing my body fat percentage. And that's what we ultimately all want to go for. But I'm also sleeping better. My appetite is much more balanced. So post cardio workouts, I used to be so hungry. I remember going into the grocery store on my way home from these workouts to go buy food because the cravings were just unbearable. And I remember coming home and eating all the food and literally beating myself up mentally that I was undoing all of the good stuff I'd done at the workout because I was just eating all of these foods and I couldn't control my hunger or my cravings. And it just became this nasty, vicious cycle that didn't help me. But I also have so much more confidence in my body's strength and abilities. And I know that I'm setting myself up to age powerfully, to age in a strong way, to not be a meek, delicate, fragile old lady, but instead a strong, powerful, confident woman that can take care of herself. So the mental switch was that I stopped punishing my body and I started empowering it. And that's when everything changed. And now, of course, I am not a personal trainer and I don't pretend to be one. If you're new to this, if you haven't done this before, if you have any medical conditions or injuries, talk with someone that's qualified, that can help you come up with a plan that's right for you and get customized advice that works for your needs. I want you to know it is not too late. Regardless of the story that you may be telling yourself in your head, you are not too old to get started. There are countless stories of inspiration that you can find online of women that are much older than however old you are right now that have done this already. And a lot of them overcame amazing obstacles to get there. What I want for you is what I want for me. It's to feel stronger and to fall in love with what your body is capable of, to be continuously surprised at how resilient and powerful you actually are. Strength is not just physical, it's transformational. If you found this helpful, please don't forget to subscribe. That's your free way of contributing to this channel. And if you want to fast track your journey, be sure to grab my Midlife Metabolism Jumpstart Guide. It's free in the description below, and it's packed with easy ways to get started today. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.